Hey everyone, Skull902 back here again for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This is part 5, and we're going to be playing this level as Jason the Red Ranger. But before that, I want to mention the thing that I fucking forgot to talk about in the last part that I said I would in the end of part 3. It's about the eye guy, and his costume. It was one of the few during Season 1 that made the trip from Japan to America. And like the story goes that the costume was in such bad shape, it was like all rotten and stuff. Like by the time that they started filming, that it was really stinky and horrible to be in that costume, which makes it kind of surprising that they would use it later on for other episodes, like years later. I mean, I know that Eye Guy is one of the more iconic Season 1 monsters, but still, you know, if it was that unpleasant, they could have ordered a new costume or something. But, in any case, that's just how it was. Now, in this level, we're playing as Jason the Red Ranger. He was the leader from the first episode up until Tommy came back as the White Ranger. And he was like the martial arts master. He was very competitive, and I don't really know if there's much more to him than that, but you know, he was very brave and just a good pick for the leader. I would say it was a very entertaining time to watch him on there. He definitely was convincing in the role, and I think that was definitely helped, of course, by his actor Austin St. John, who was he too was a martial artist, like I said, and he grew up as the son of like his father was in the military and he moved around a lot, and thus he learned from quite a bit of different martial arts styles in his youth. He eventually became a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo and a first-degree black belt in Judo, and you know that meant that Jason could have some variation in his moveset. Austin St. John was the youngest member of the original cast, including Tommy. So young, in fact, that he quit high school. He fucking quit high school to be on the show. He was 17 years old, which is, I mean, I certainly don't recommend quitting high school, but I mean, he was pretty famous for a little while. But he eventually did move on, and when he left the show, he got his GED, and then he graduated college, and he actually became a medic. He works in the medical field now, including some work that he did in the Middle East with the military. So he's definitely kept himself busy, and his line of work is helping people now, which is really cool. There was actually a rumor going around in the mid-2000s that he had gone on to do gay porn. I'm not fucking joking. And, you know, nothing against porn actors, but I don't think that he's the kind of guy who would be down to do that. Though, come to think of it, I do think it funny, the thought of him just ramming some poor guy in the ass while shouting, "Tyrannosaurus power!" Oh, goodness gracious. But, moving on. The circumstances, I said I was going to mention this in the last part. The circumstances in which he, Walter Jones, and Thuy Trang left the show in the second season, it was like a pay dispute. And it was like Power Rangers, like I said, it was a huge fucking franchise when it was first airing on TV. Like in the first year, I think it like got over $1 billion in revenue, which is insane for, you know, a syndicated, or no, it wasn't syndicated, sorry, for a, you know, a low budget television show like that, but it made bank. And so naturally, the actors that I mentioned wanted some more money out of that because they were being paid pretty horribly for what they were doing and how much the show was earning. And Chaim Saban is not gonna lie, a fucking cheapskate. So he said no, and ultimately they just decided to leave and not finish any of the episodes that they had planned. Really unfortunate because they did miss out on being in the movie and everything like that. I'm sure that was pretty disappointing. I know from listening to an interview with Walter Jones that he was pretty saddened by missing out on the movie. But you gotta stand up for what you believe in. Apparently, some of those issues were resolved because both Walter Jones, though not as his original character, and Austin St. John did come back to do some more stuff in Power Rangers later on. So I guess that there was a bit of a happy ending to that situation. In any case, we're going through this level, and it's kind of weird that there's a fucking cave, or sorry, a fucking laboratory inside of this deep dark cave here. But what possible reason would Rita Repulsa need for that? Because her thing was magic, it was her magic against the Power Rangers technology. So I don't quite understand this, and it has been a while since I've seen the Dark Warrior episode. That's the monster for this level, but I don't think that he had a lab either. This would be more appropriate as like the basement of the command center, to be perfectly honest. But what the fuck do I know? I'm just some guy. Now, here's a section that can be kind of a... Well, no, I was gonna say kind of a bitch, but I just play poorly. You've got this laser here that shoots, and it's very devastating. Hurts the enemies too, thankfully. But it gives you like 4 warning beeps. I guess it has like a little alarm. It sounds off 4 times, and then it just boom, destroys everything on screen. Or well, should I say destroy? It's again, it's a very powerful blast. And again, it kills the enemies, so that's cool. And then you eventually got to destroy it. So it's one of the more memorable obstacles of the entire game. You see, I just got hit by it, and a huge chunk of health taken out. But I thought it one of the more amusing obstacles in the game, and one of the attacks I just used on the putties, actually, the big uppercut attack. I remember discovering that and being like, oh my god, I can fucking do that. That's amazing. I believe you have to get like particularly close to the putty, and this only works in Ranger form if I'm not mistaken, but it's like you get really close to the putty, press down in the attack button like right at the same time, and then it'll do that like quick succession of uppercuts. It's pretty fun. Now here's the boss battle. This is the Dark Warrior, who I haven't seen his episode in a little while, so I'm not terribly familiar with what he did in the episode, but it was some good stuff. He was one of the better monsters, and he's certainly my favorite boss fight in the entire game because he's more hands-on in his fighting than the other ones are. Like the other ones wanted to use some magic and stuff, but he's using like practical stuff. He's got a sword. He's got this like chain whip thing, which I know is an actual weapon with a real name, but please excuse me. And he's got like a bomb too. And the only magic he'll use is to teleport from place to place. So it's basically just a game of trying to guess where he's gonna spawn. And of course, if you save your bomb, then that's also a good thing to do while you're fighting this guy. But again, just a really enjoyable fight. And I can never say that like me getting hit against this boss was, the game's fault. It's definitely a thing of skill, but next time we're going to be playing as the Zords. So, yeah, see you then, and have a good day.